Welcome, everybody. John Arvosis here. Manda Bear, you're first on TikTok. And hey, all of you guys as well. I am here in Washington, D.C., flipping my screen for the TikTokers. There we go. And today we are going to be updating on Ukraine, as we always do every day. As always, we're going to wait 3 or 4 minutes just to give the Russian trolls a chance to join us. No, just kidding. Just to give folks, especially YouTube and TikTok, it seems to take a few minutes for folks to wander in. So we are going to wait for that as usual, and we will, adjusting the temperature of my apartment, and we'll hang out and chat for a couple minutes and then dive right in to the news. Boom. There we go. Oh, the blue light. This is true. Hey, Google, turn on the living room light. Hey, Google, turn on the living room lights. There we go. Not very bright during the day, but nonetheless, where would we be without our signature light? Just saw a headline, NATO took control of the Black Sea. Where'd you see that headline? I don't think that's a legitimate headline. Feel free, folks, to introduce yourselves, tell people where you're from. We like to do that the first couple of minutes anyway. Let me just see here. Let me just see. No. There's stuff about how NATO could break the blockade and all of that, but there's no headlines about. I didn't think that NATO isn't quite there yet in terms of taking the Black Sea. Wish they were, but they're not. Oh, greetings, John Hoover and Kremenchuk. You finally made it early and can hang. There you go, Slendermonk. Nice to see you. Oh, man. New York with COVID. I know I've got another friend here who's got it too. I'm actually finally going to get my second booster today because once I talked to another friend yesterday who also got it, I was like, all right, that's enough. I'm getting especially since I've been having all these breathing problems. The last thing I need is COVID to add to this. So anyway, hot tea. Thank you, Mike, for the hat. Oh, man. Yeah, we're going to go probably another 2 minutes, guys. Wait another 2 minutes so the TikTokers and everybody else can arrive. Oh, hey, Thomas Walsh. Good to see you. Oh, interesting. Nope, didn't know anything about Rogozin and Roscosmos. Nothing about it. Thank you for the fireworks. Me? I can thank me? No, it's decaf green tea to hopefully help my throat. Thank you, Purnell. If it were alcohol, I would start to forget everything I was talking about. I have the pneumonia vaccine. I got that years ago. Yep. Also got the shingles vaccine. I got shingles once, like right when I turned 50. I had asked my doctor if I should get the vaccine, and this was before they wanted it for 50-year-olds. And he goes, nah, you won't get it. I was like, okay. 6 months later, I got shingles. Oh, man. So let me tell you, even though I had a mild case, you really don't want shingles. I mean, you've got it now. Jeez, I'm so sorry. I hope yours isn't bad. Mine was like a spot like this on my back, but shingles feels, we're going to start, 1 minute we'll start, guys. As I said, just waiting for a critical mass to arrive. Shingles feels, for me, like I had a knife permanently stabbing into my body. It's the same feeling you get, the same feeling I got when I had chickenpox. I remember each sore feeling, again, it's a nerve pain. It's the pain you would have if there was a knife stuck into you. It was horrific, absolutely horrific. Oh, God, back and front. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Thank you, Danny. That is going to make it very hard to sleep. Yeah, mine was like the back, so I had to like sleep on my stomach. I don't even remember my side. It was something kind of weird. It was not comfortable. Anyway, shingles bad. You've had shingles 3 times? Okay, that's BS. They wouldn't let you get the vaccine yet. You've got to find a doctor who will let you get the vaccine. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Mine did not itch. Mine literally felt like there was a knife stabbing into my wound permanently. I mean, it's horrific. Absolutely. I mean, they talk about it. That's why shingles is so scary. Thank you, Smiling, because it's literally nerve pain, and it can be a very difficult pain to get rid of because it's your nerves. So a lot of the typical over-the-counter stuff doesn't work. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to start. Thanks so much for joining us today. I know we started with our shingles discussion. Always delve into some strange topic. As always, I am going to, all right, first time willing to give you the chance, Hector, but now you're being just weird. So as always, I'm going to start off giving the news of the day. I've got a decent amount. Hang on. I'm always like to number my notes so I don't get confused. It's an okay amount. Yeah. I thought it wasn't too much news as always. Then I start to go through it and there's a decent, I think. And then just putting my numbers on the pages, 5. And then I take your questions afterwards. On TikTok, what would be most helpful is if you guys just go to my profile and you'll see the Q&A in red in my profile. Click that, and that's the best way to pose questions because that way they're in a list and I can find them if you would. On YouTube and everybody else, obviously you can use the comment box. The other possibility, if you're on YouTube, of course, is using the Super Chat questions, which cost something, but they end up being a donation to me, which I appreciate. And I always guarantee I'll get to those questions because even if I miss them, the mods jump in and let me know I missed the question. Whereas every other question, there's usually just too many questions flying around. So there you go. So let me get rolling. So let me start with our fundraiser. So we have now raised $4,005 for people with disabilities in the town of Barvinkove, Ukraine. It's in the east, right on the front with the Russians. I mentioned the other day, the Russians were actually trying to take that town. So it's right there. Because they're in the middle of battle, they've not been able to get supplies. And there's a association of people with disabilities. They take care of about 200 people with disabilities in that town alone in Ukraine, and desperate for food, medicine, and sundry supplies. So meaning, toothpaste, toothbrushes, things like that, hygiene supplies. So they contacted a charity in Kharkiv, Ukraine, Kharkovomir. Thank you, Arifa. They're a charity that we've been working with for the last 4 months, really, raising a lot of money for them directly. And the head of the facility, long story short, head of the facility said, we need $5,000. And wrote a letter to Kharkovomir. Kharkovomir's folks reached out to me and I said, let's try. So we have already raised $4,005 as of moments ago, thanks to all of you. I will say special thanks, because she's amazing. Goldfish in Paradise. I'm using her screen name because you never know if people want their real name out there. She held a pool party last night and asked her friends to contribute. So her friends and she contributed $1,000. And she just sent it to Vlad. He just got it by PayPal. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we're up to $4,000. Another 1,000 would be perfect, but you know what? This is awesome anyway. So this is way more than I thought we'd get because, interest is waning a little bit and all of that. In any case, the final thing, I was just going to say, so if you haven't given yet and you want to give, or if you gave and you want to give again, on you guys, I've got both of my screens here. That's the TikTok folks. On you guys, you can see Vlad's PayPal email right there. Use it. For you all, go to my profile and you'll see right above the Q&A link, you will see a web address that says beacons.ai, blah, blah, blah. If you, Vlad's messaging me. Vlad's messaging me. Hold on. I'm going to say doing the show. Talk later. Okay. All right. For you guys to donate. So you can go to my profile, click the Beacons link. And when you arrive on that page, I know it's so many screens, but it's for a good cause. So you will go to my profile, you zoom in and looky there right above the Q&A and tips, HTTPS, blah, 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 Beacons. You click that. And you will see that there's a welcome. And then what does the first thing say? Support Ukrainians with disabilities. That gives you Vlad's PayPal address. Thank you, Rich. And the final point, and then I swear we're starting the news, but this is too important, so I don't mind delaying a little bit. We are going to be choosing one person who has given at least $5. We'll convert, 50 pounds is clearly enough. $5. And we are going to be sending you this authentic Ukrainian military patch. It's real. Vlad got it there at the local military store, mailed it to me here in the States from Ukraine. It's got the Velcro on the back because they wear these on their shoulders. You will see, he even showed me a picture of one of the guys who runs Harkovu Mir, the nonprofit we're working with, in his military outfit, and he's got the patch on the side. It's the real one. The trident is one of the three symbols of Ukraine. That's actually a trident, which I didn't realize until about a week or two ago, like Poseidon's trident, right? So there you go. We're going to pick at random one of you, and I'm going to mail it wherever you are in the world as a thank you. So anyway, I will move on, but I'm just very impressed and surprised and everything else. This is great, guys. So, final point. They've already started buying stuff. Vlad is sending them the money as he gets it, out of their own pockets, and then they'll reimburse with this. Tomorrow, they're going to be driving there. So I figure I'll let this go till tomorrow morning, and then I'll pull all the videos and everything I've got up about it so nobody gets confused and donates again. And then we'll pick who the winner is. All right, guys, let me move on. So I'll start with a good thing. There is a 19-year-old Ukrainian recruit with the National Guard in Zaporizhia. Zaporizhia is this town over here and region. All right, that's Zaporizhia. And the lower part of Zaporizhia, much of the province is occupied by the Russians. The top part is not. So he's clearly in free Zaporizhia. This 19-year-old with the Ukrainian National Guard has already shot down 6 Russian aircraft and 1 cruise missile. They're calling him the Zaporizhia Avenger, like the Avengers, the superheroes, which I thought was totally cute. Thank you, Marky. The Zaporizhia Avenger. He's using a MANPADS, which are portable surface-to-air missiles. Ali, thank you for that, or Ali. There you go. Just wanted to start with a happy story. Thought that was kind of cool. The Russians launched another massive attack on Mykolaiv overnight. Mykolaiv is this town right here. Actually, just to give folks another, thank you, TC Lou, just to give folks an idea again of where the fighting's taking place all over, okay? You've got around Kharkiv. Kharkiv is the second largest city. It's still free, but on the outskirts of it, near the Russian border, this is all Russia, near the Russian border, the Russians control a lot of it. There's that. Then you get here, Severodonetsk is the town that fell a couple weeks ago. The Russians are fighting, all in this area. And you've got additional fighting, Zaporizhia, Kherson. I mean, you've got a lot in general, but that's where a lot of it's happening. So Mykolaiv is right here. Mykolaiv is still free. Kherson is occupied and the region. So Ukrainians have been moving down, trying to free up Kherson. They've been having success, slow but successful. And the Russians have been bombing the hell out of Mykolaiv as part of their pushback. And of course, Russians being Russians, they're doing a massive attack on the civilian infrastructure, because not only do they not care, but that's part of their goal. Their goal is to attack civilians, to try to break the spirit of the enemy. More tea. In other news, so I figured I'd start by giving you sort of the war updates on the different fighting. So I mentioned Kharkiv, right, which is the second largest city. Kharkiv is a city, and it's also a region, because Ukraine does that a lot. They name the regions after the city or vice versa. Well, kind of a weird thing. So Institute for the Study of War, which is a defense think tank that I quote a lot. They're very good and respected by the defense folks. And Institute for the Study of War says that Russia may have changed its goal and now plans to take Kharkiv city itself. That this is what they're reading. I mean, this is what they've sort of read. They're not sure. They said it looks like maybe this is the case. They also said it's crazy because there's no way a very little way that Russia would have any chance of being able to take the town itself. It's a town of 1.5 million people. What worries me with that news, though, is the way the Russians take these towns is by destroying them. Severodonetsk, which is that one town I told you they were fighting over for weeks. I was looking at something yesterday, and I think the population of the town is normally maybe 100,000. There's 8,000 people left in the town because the Russians just destroyed the entire town, right? And what worries me is that if they've got some crazy idea that they're going to take all of Kharkiv, which they can't do, they're going to just destroy it because that's what they do. So they're going to, now let's see if they've got the rockets. They may not have the rockets. Artillery, they may not be close enough. I mean, they've been bombing it anyway, but let's see what happens, but it worries me. In Luhansk, so this was kind of interesting. Update on Luhansk. So Luhansk is the town and province like over here, okay? And Donetsk is town and province over here. And combined, they're called Donbass. The Russians, their goal is to get the entire region, right? In terms of Luhansk, once the Russians got Severodonetsk, they controlled almost all the region. And it gave them big bragging rights for saying just that, like, ooh, we now have the entire region, blah, blah, blah. Well, it seems 2 villages remain in Ukrainian hands, according to the head of the Luhansk region's military administration. He said today that Ukrainian forces were working to withstand Russian advances in the towns of Bilohorivka and, oh my God, this one's even scarier, Verkhnokamianka. There we go. The villages both sit about 10 miles west of the strategic city of Lysychansk. Lysychansk is a city right across the river from Severodonetsk. So bottom line, they're in this area where my finger is, more or less, okay? And I'm trying to read, what did he say here? One of the local military guys said one of the villages has already been captured by the Russians several times, but each time our troops pushed the enemy back to their previous positions. The thought here is that it basically is embarrassing to the Russians. The Russians, Putin wants to be able to say he controls the entire region. And just like what happened in Mariupol, remember Mariupol in the south, where the Russians were fighting for months, and there were 2,000 Ukrainian troops holding off 14,000 Russians? Well, it denied Russia the bragging rights on claiming that they controlled the whole city. Same thing's happening here. It's denying Russia the ability to say they control the whole region. Ukraine's military. It's funny. I copy all these notes and then I have to like refresh myself on them. Okay, Russian forces sustain equipment and personnel losses in southern Ukraine. The Operational Command of the South reported yesterday that Ukrainian forces, thank you, that was that Kaishu, maybe? Kaishu, yes. Thank you for that. Reported that Ukrainian forces killed 36 Russian troops, destroyed 2 Russian T-72 tanks, 2 ammunition depots, 2 man-pads, which are the air defense systems, the surface-to-air missiles, a howitzer, a Tor short-range surface-to-air missile system, and armored and military vehicles. This is in the south. The Russians, I've got a little picture to show you here in a second. The Russians have been forced to move their ammunition further back. We've talked about this before, where because the Ukrainians have been using the HIMARS rocket launchers that we provided them, the Brits provided them. These are rocket launchers that actually can go 200 miles or 300 kilometers. Thank you, Masshole, for that. 300 kilometers, but we've only given them the artillery, the munitions, the bullets, so to speak, that can go 43 miles, maybe 50 or 60. I mean, 43 is the conservative estimate. But the bigger weapons, the bigger munitions we could send them can go 200 miles, 186 miles actually, instead of 43 miles. So a huge difference. Well, even the 43 miles, the Ukrainians have now blown up so many Russian munitions that they are, hang on a sec, I'm gonna pop a pill and see if it helps my asthma a little bit. One moment. Thank you, Flea Baggies, for the cap. The Ukrainians have blown up so much of the ammunitions. Now, mind you, in the last week, they blew up what? Excuse me, 20 ammunition storage depots. 20? I mean, insane amount. So what happened, thank you, Crusher, for the Swan. What happened now is the Russians have had to move their ammunition further back, okay, to get out of the range, at least 50 miles, at least back from the front where the fighting's going on, to get away from the Ukrainian HIMARS systems, the rocket systems. But what does that do? Specifically, they've moved back twice as far. So they're twice as far away now. Well, if you're supplying weapons with ammunition, right? And now it's twice as far away. You need twice as many vehicles to get it there on time, because basically it now takes twice as long for the same munition to get. So if I'm firing my gun every hour, right? And every hour you were giving me a bullet, let's say. Now you're twice the distance away and it takes you 2 hours to get to me. Well, now I can't fire but every 2 hours because it takes twice as long to get me the ammunition. So they need twice as many cars. So one car comes 1 hour and goes back. The second car comes the second hour. Bottom line, the ammunition is twice as far and they need twice as many trucks and cars to deliver it. That means logistical nightmare for the Russians, who suck at logistics. So great news. Now I'm going to show you really quick on my phone, because the military guys on Twitter this morning were sharing an image of how far the long range weapons can go. Now, mind you, these are the, as I was telling you, these are the longer range munitions for the same. So basically, we gave Ukraine a rocket launcher, for lack of a better word. Okay. This rocket launcher, called HIMARS, HIMARS, can take a lot of different ammunition. Some of the ammunition can only shoot 43 miles. Some of the ammunition can shoot 200 miles. We didn't give them the 200 mile because we're all scared of angering Putin. So we gave them the 43 mile. If we gave them the 200 mile ammunition, this is how far. And I mean, hold on, I'm trying to get this so I can there we go. I'm going to have to, once you see this, hold on, is that the, once you see this, I'm going to have to zoom in a little so you can tell. It's a little hard to tell. Now, let me zoom in just so you, actually, forget zooming in. I'm going to show you on my map here. So here is what would be covered with the longer range HIMARS. Ukraine could hit anywhere from pretty much here to here. Everything east of this and this, all of this could be hit by the weapons. Now, the Russians control all of this. With that, it goes all the way out to here. So I'm making sure you can see my hand. All the way out to here could they hit. Now, that's part of the reason the U.S. was worried, was that, they don't want the Ukrainians attacking Russia with our weapons, blah, 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 whatever. The Ukrainians promised they wouldn't, and they haven't. We are also simply worried, Biden is, that Putin will get angry. It's too much of an escalation, blah, blah, blah. My point is, they could hit every single Russian position. I mean, forget, Moscow is 450 miles or so, 480 at the nearest point. The Ukrainians could hit every single Russian position in all of Ukraine if we gave them the right weapons. All we have to do is give them the better bullets, so to speak, right? The better rockets that fit into this gun. That's all we have to give them. And they could hit, and it has incredible accuracy, much more accuracy than the Russians have, and it can be reloaded in a very quick period of time, whereas the comparable Russian weapons takes a long time to reload. So the Ukrainians could fire and move, and the Russians just don't have time. They fire and the Russians go, oh, that's where they are. It still could take the Russians an hour to get the gun ready and to target, to hit them. So anyway, this gets me upset because actually one point I want to make too. This gets to sort of the whole issue. There's been a lot of talk in the last day about Germany being very concerned about the winter and, not having enough natural gas. The Russians are going to probably cut them off, is the thought. They may cut off all of Europe. They're going to have to economize on their energy and all of this. And it got me thinking, and I was like, had we given Ukraine the weapons they needed from the beginning, Remember those MiG fighter jets that Poland was going to give, and then we freaked out and the Germans freaked out. Then there were a bazillion tanks we were going to send, and that whole deal blew up. I don't know why, but all these different deals blew up, right? Then finally, we were giving them this stuff, right? This HIMARS rocket system. They only got the first damn rocket system from us 6 weeks ago, maybe. I mean, we waited 3.5, 4 months to get them the system, to even put it on the list. And now we've given them 8 so far. Another 4 are coming. The Brits gave them 4. They've got another several coming, but they've got pretty much like 9 or 12 of the systems so far. Even our defense experts say the Ukrainians will need dozens of these. Had we gotten them the weapons they needed, and frankly, if we got them today the weapons they needed, stop giving them 4 a month, give them 40. And don't give them the bullets that can only shoot 43 miles. Give them the bullets that can shoot 186 miles. Maybe they could kick Russia out in time that Europe wouldn't have to worry about its energy, right? That we don't have to worry about it causing a recession in our country and sending inflation through the roof. But this is what pisses me off is I think it's a fallacy for us to pretend, and frankly for Biden to pretend that as long as we do it slowly, Putin won't get mad, I mean, and as if we can control how mad Putin gets, and as if Putin's somehow restraining himself, like he's not being as mean as he could be. Really? How much meaner could he be? I mean, somebody wrote a really good piece yesterday on this for the people who say, we could go nuclear. And the person just said outright, he's going to go nuclear when we bomb him back and destroy the world. That doesn't make sense. So why would he do it? Right? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, it pisses me off because I don't like this notion of let's go gradually, slowly give them more weapons, slowly give them better weapons. Thank you, Vicky, for that. Because what you get is this muck. And frankly, what Europe is facing in the fall is muck. And what the US is facing with inflation is also muck, and we could potentially get away from this. Anyway, all right, off of my high horse on that one. This was very funny. This was in occupied Russian territory, in Ukrainian territory, occupied by the Russians. I don't know in what town. It was put out by the partisans, right? The partisans are the Wolverines for you Americans. Hang on a second here. Yep, there you go. The partisans are the guerrilla fighters, the private citizens living behind enemy lines. So the private Ukrainian citizens who are living now in towns occupied by the Russians, and they secretly get together and work with Ukrainian intelligence and get bombs and all. And part of what they do is they're putting up signs. Thank you, Canadians, putting up signs surreptitiously just to freak out the Russians as psychological warfare. So let me show you the sign. Now, it's really good. It shows the HIMARS, which is that rocket system that's really freaking out the Russians. And now, for any of you who know what it says, I'll put it up a second so you can see it, and then I'll translate it. Whoop. Now, what it basically says is, although it's a little more nuanced, it basically says, and this is a rough translation, when the Russians go to sleep, the HIMARS wakes up. Because basically they've been firing the HIMARS at night at the Russians. They've been going after them after dark. Now, one thing that's very funny here, and maybe somebody can tell me, and I just saw Yulia came on. My supposition, they're using a word. That word at the top is rashisti. And I've seen Ukrainians and others use it in English for the Russians instead of, Ruski or whatever. I am wondering if it is a pun, but not funny, a pun, so to speak, on the Ukrainian word rasistvki, or rasistvki, which is racist. Am I correct or not on this? Help me out here, somebody who speaks Ukrainian or Russian. Do they call them the what did I have again? Rashisti, because it's a pun on rasistki? I'm seeing no and yes. um, or is it a pun on fascist? Oh, is it fascisti? It's fascist. That's what it is. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. Hold on, I'm going to pull this up now. All right. I was thinking racist, but you're right. Fascist would be the same kind of word. Fascist. Oh, it is the same kind of word though. Yeah. Fascist key. Okay. So it's a pun on fascist. That's very cute. I'm in Washington, D.C. If you're asking me, Trooper, not sure. Okay, so that's what it is. So they're basically saying when the fascist Russians wake up or go to bed, the HIMARS wakes up. Anyway, it's cute. I just thought it was funny that they're basically papering the town with these things just to freak out the Russians, which is also pretty kind of amazing. More tea. Germany, in terms of the concern about electricity in the fall, Germany is going to relaunch 16 coal and oil-fired power plants amid fears Russia will cut off the gas. German Chancellor Scholz expressed regret over Berlin's decision to bring back dormant fossil fuel power plants and extend the operating permission for 11 more plants, reassuring that it is only temporary and the government remains committed to doing everything to combat the climate crisis. Despite the bitter decision, Scholz ruled out reactivating nuclear power plants, arguing that this would not solve Germany's energy needs. I mean, he's such a liar. There was something that came up yesterday too. I've got to find the latest lie from him. Thank you, Beth, for that. I'm going to pull it up on my Twitter because I like starting nuclear. I mean, okay, you can disagree with nukes all you want, nuclear power plants, all you want. That I'm fine with, right? You think nukes are a horrible idea? A-okay. I can accept that. But claiming that nuclear power plants would not solve Germany's energy needs, why wouldn't it, right? Coal and fossil fuels, especially because coal and fossil fuels are causing the climate crisis. Nuclear isn't, right? So like, why? It's horrible. I mean, I don't. He's such a. Let me pull this up. I'm sorry. The other bullshit he said yesterday. I'm sorry, but I think this man's just a habitual liar. I mean, frankly, it reminds me of Donald Trump, where like literally it finally became you couldn't believe any word he said because he was just lying. Hold on a second. It drives me absolutely crazy. Hold on. Actually, it was something. Oh, it was about the nukes. Hold on. It was about the nukes. Hang on. One moment. Here we go. Now, okay, this was a quote from basically, this was a German nuclear operator said, we can keep running. We only need the okay. So German nuclear plant guy said, there's no problem. We just need the permission. Scholz and the economy minister have been falsely claiming that the nuclear plants cannot operate because they don't have staffing and they don't have fuel. So they went and they talked to the guy at the nuclear plant and he goes, we're fine. They just have to give up permission. We got enough staff and fuel. So they're not doing nukes yet again. The German chancellor has some reason that nobody will ever know, but it's not what he's claiming to not do what he could be doing. And, I'll leave it to the Germans because you're the ones that are going to have to be dealing with the energy prices and an energy crisis this winter. But Jesus Christ, this guy, he's just such oh God. He's just, the thing is, I just don't trust. I was saying this weeks ago, I don't trust a word out of this guy's mouth anymore. Good news, Germans have begun training 100 Ukrainian military personnel on how to use the German Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft guns. That's good news. Bad news, the New York Times had a big story about the Russians have begun a program of indoctrinating their students and young kids. It is straight out of the Soviet fascist book. Starting in first grade, they're going to have weekly classes featuring war movies and virtual tours of Crimea, right? To cement in the little children's brains that Ukraine actually belongs to Russia, right? Lessons celebrating Russia's, quote, rebirth of Russia as a great power in the 20th century under Vladimir Putin. I got to say, that's one of the ones that really gets me too. How is Russia stronger today than they were 10 years ago? Actually, a year ago, we didn't just fear Russia's nukes, we feared Russia's military. 6 months ago, we feared Russia's military. Now we don't. Now we think Russia's military is a joke. Now we know Russia's military is a joke. They're not a great power. Like I said, they're a nuclear power. They're not a great power. They're only a great power because they have nukes. And again, we now know that their military is a joke. Their military is an absolute joke. So how has Putin rebirthed Russia as a great power in the 21st century? I mean, obviously it's propaganda, but it's just so sad to some degree too, because, well, same thing. Everything's a lie. Everything is a lie that they peddle their own people. Children will be urged to join a new patriotic youth movement in the likeness of the Soviet pioneers, because they've got to indoctrinate the kids. In October, fifth graders and up will have a session meant to discourage emigration. They're trying to, hang on a second. We've got to get the Julian Assange nut job out of here. Anybody comes on about freeing Julian Assange, mods, feel free to kick their butts to high hell. In October, fifth graders and up will have a session meant to discourage emigration called this is what it's called. The session's called Happiness is Being Happy at Home. They're trying to convince young people not to leave the country because it's a dictatorial cesspool. So they're giving them classes called Happiness is Being Happy at Home. Yeah, lovely. They're screwed up. I mean, they're seriously screwed up. So just to add to the screw up, so Medvedev, every time I say Medvedev, I feel like I'm saying, what's his name? Remember from Seinfeld, the short, fat guy with the glasses? Remember, what was his name with an M? When Jerry or whoever would always go, they'd say his name really slowly, whatever the guy's name was, remember? And he'd go Seinfeld. So anyway, but Medvedev, Newman, right? Because Newman, I feel like Medvedev. Anyway, Medvedev is my Newman. So listen to this, the latest from Medvedev. These are the latest quotes. Medvedev used to be the president, I believe the president or prime minister, maybe prime minister of Russia. He was considered a reformer. He was considered one of the good guys 20 years ago, okay? This is the latest BS from this guy's mouth. Russia must be strong so that no one could even think about trying to take aggressive actions against it. Like, okay, fair enough. About Ukraine's threats of attack on Crimea. Oh, because Ukraine's talked about trying to get Crimea back, of course. If something like this happens, Judgment Day will come for them all. These guys talk like Saddam Hussein. You know, they're not Europeans. That's what I can say. They're not Europeans. They don't talk like Europeans. There's nothing. The Russians make threats. I've told you guys this before. It reminded me of Saddam Hussein. When Saddam Hussein would make threats or he'd get pissed off at Madeleine Albright or the president or whoever, and he'd make some, you are a dirty dog wearing dresses or something, and you'd be like, what does that mean? You are a donkey. That was one of my favorite. I think they used to say donkey. You're just kind of going, donkeys are cute. They're a little annoying, but they're cute. They're so not part of our same culture that their insults don't even work. And when I read this kind of stuff, right? Judgment Day will come for you all. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. The goals of the NWO, I don't know what that is, will be achieved. This will someday be realized by those who feed Kiev with monies and weapons, whatever. The LPR, this is Luhansk in the east. They're claiming it's been liberated. As I said, no, it has. Oh, New World Order, maybe. Oh, maybe. New World Order. I guess that is what it is. So the Luhansk in the east has been liberated. It hasn't been. 2 towns remain. But in other parts of Ukraine, the SVO continues. Special operation. I'm guessing SV as in Victor. It's got to be special special operation. That's what I'm going to go with. Threats to the Russian Federation will be removed, including through the demilitarization of Ukraine. So they're still pushing that BS. The refusal of Ukraine or NATO countries to recognize Crimea as Russian is a systemic threat to the Russian Federation. Well, got news for you, boys. You're right. It's not going to be recognized, and it is a systemic threat because, so help me God, like, we're going to do everything we can to free Ukraine. So, but I listen to crap like that, and once again, it takes me back to us not doing enough, because I listen to garbage like that, and all it does is make me think these people aren't going away. They're not going to be, they're using the military, Voyna or Voyna or whatever for military. It's the V from Russian for special military operation. Okay. So somebody transliterated it from Russian. He probably said SVO or whatever, SVO or whatever it is. Yeah. Thank you, Turgut. That makes sense. But I hear this kind of crap from the Russians, and I feel like they're not going away. They're not going to be better. They're not going to be better when the war is over. It's not like we're going to, Ukraine will reach a peace deal and suddenly everything will be happy and Russia's no longer going to invade anybody and the threat to NATO will be okay as long as we just don't humiliate him and make him mad. I mean, it's just not. These folks are not. They're not. They're not going away. Speaking of which, if some of the Brits can tell me, Admiral Tony Ratigan, head of the British Defense Staff, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? The head of the British Defense Staff. Do you know what the comparable would be in the US? I was just curious as to, I'm assuming this man is senior. I'm just curious what it is. I see Boris is now joining in. What did you say? Why are you so something? You should be pushing Biden to negotiate. Actually, we should be pushing Biden to give 200 mile, 300 kilometer weapons to kick your butt out of Ukraine is what we should be pushing Biden to do. Would he be chairman of the Joint Chiefs? Okay. So like the American chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, in America, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs is the highest level uniformed military official. So the Secretary of Defense is a civilian who's ahead of it all, and the top military is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So this guy's akin to that. He said, the Russian Federation will remain a threat to the world for potentially several more decades. And according to him, the next prime minister must understand that Russia is the greatest threat to the UK, United Kingdom. Now, what was interesting, though, at the same time, the Latvian defense minister, Artis Pabriks, said that Ukraine has greatly weakened Russia, so the Kremlin will not dare start a new conflict in the next 2 decades. I'm just putting it out there because I don't know. I don't think we know where this goes. I think Russia will remain belligerent as hell. Whether they can pull stuff off is another question, right? They are going to have a hard time doing a lot of things because their military has been hurt a lot. But I'm just curious, where that meets between the two of them, saying Russia couldn't go to war for years, or for 2 decades, Russia couldn't go to war again versus they're the biggest threat militarily. Anyway, last little thing. Yeah, I'll bring this up. Washington Post had a story that the big tech ignores requests to remove disinformation, hate speech against Ukrainians. According to research done by the Disinformation Situation Center, shared with the Washington Post, roughly 70% of posts and 90% of accounts flagged as promoting anti-Ukrainian hate speech on YouTube and Twitter remain active as of late June. LinkedIn reportedly took down fewer than half of the posts flagged by Ukrainian officials as Russian war propaganda. So, social media sucks. We all know that. All right. I've got that. Yeah, TikTok. Let's not even go with TikTok. Exactly. Actually, there was a big article on TikTok the other day about that as well. More tea. So I mentioned, maybe I didn't mention, because so many people I know are getting COVID, and I even know another friend now who got it I'm finally going to go today to get my second booster because I was like, all right, I was going to wait till the fall for like the new vaccine to come out or whatever. And finally I was like, you know what? With the way my breathing's bothering me again today, I can't afford to like have some respiratory illness make it even worse. And I am calling my doctor tomorrow. Whoever keeps saying, call your doctor. I'm calling him tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to get the second. Well, actually, and in my case, it's kind of a third booster. Basically, I got the J&J, Johnson & Johnson. And I was warned by epidemiologists and MD friends who do the research that J&J, they said from the beginning, as a J&J, it's like half a vaccine. Basically, you're getting half. Well, now the new data shows J&J was like getting half a vaccine, right? So I went last year and got 2 Pfizer shots 3 months apart because that showed sort of the best efficacy. And in essence, those were I don't count them as 2 boosters. I count them as 1 because I figure for my taste, just me, the first Pfizer counted as my second shot with J&J. So first Pfizer and J&J made 1 vaccine. Second Pfizer was my booster. So this is my second booster. I'm going to get Moderna. And I know Moderna may kick my butt because Moderna tends to give you a stronger reaction. We will see. But I'm going to go at 3:30. So I've set my little alarm. So at 3:15, I'm going to jump off 3:15, 3:20. I've got to jump off of here. So now that I've started a discussion about COVID, well, that's the thing. I might be. That's why I figured I would go afterwards. So it'll kick in tonight and it wouldn't kick in like a couple hours later too. Anyway, so let's look at questions. As I said, feel free to throw questions in here if you want, but I will also check the Q&A on TikTok to see if you folks put them there. Well, no, I mean, the Assange thing, it's just rude. I mean, the problem is the Assange thing. Somebody says, I know it's off subject, but why is Assange such an issue to discuss? I guess it depends what you mean. I just don't know why people are bringing it up, Julian Assange in a discussion about Ukraine. And it's something the people who are like manic about Julian Assange do. They jump into every random conversation and go, free Julian Assange. And after a while, it's just annoying and makes them look crazy. The Mumia Jamal people used to do this, whoever the hell he was, but they would like literally every pride parade and every parade we had, there was always somebody with some sign that said free Mumia Jamal. And after a while, I was like, okay, go away. Get out of my pride parade. You know what I mean? That just doesn't belong it's like having Julian Assange in a pride parade. I mean, so, and personally, I think Julian Assange is an idiot. Like Julian Assange single-handedly got Donald Trump elected. Julian Assange made clear his goal was to defeat Hillary Clinton. He made that clear. He used WikiLeaks, and WikiLeaks, same thing. Their goal was to defeat Hillary Clinton. They gave us Donald Trump. So Julian Assange can rot in British hell or in American jail for the rest of his life for all I care. Because also, not really thrilled with, he's also, I'd call him a traitor, except he's not an American. But he's also a traitor too, so to speak. But yeah, so I couldn't care less about Julian Assange anyway. But also the fact that he got Trump elected, he can go to hell. And he said it. He said, there's quotes from him that they were going to do everything they could to defeat Hillary. Well, thanks, big guy, because you did a lot. You did a lot of good for the world those 4 years, didn't you? And you may be doing it again for the world. So anyway, exactly. He broke laws pretending to care about a free press. Yeah, he doesn't care about anything. He didn't care about anything. Anyways, and why is Trump against giving Ukraine money? I'd like you to do me a favor, though. Remember 2 things. There's a crazy conspiracy theory that Ukraine was somehow involved in stealing the election, and they tried to help Hillary defeat Trump in 2016. So he believes this crazy thing. Then Trump went to Ukraine. He went to Zelensky, 2019, whatever it was, and said to Zelensky, when Zelensky said, we really need these weapons, the Russians, this is bad news. And he said, okay, but I'd like you to do me a favor, though. And he wanted Zelensky to dig up dirt on Joe Biden. And so that Zelensky would produce some kind of information to help Trump beat Biden in the presidential election. And Zelensky didn't say yes, didn't say no, but let the news leak that this had happened. And Trump can't stand Zelensky because Zelensky didn't do him a favor. He tried to blackmail Zelensky, and Zelensky didn't go through. And Trump already believed the conspiracy theory that Zelensky was somehow involved in trying to steal the election in 2016. This is Trump, So of course, Trump doesn't care about American national security at all. He's going to make a decision on Ukraine based on whether it gives him another hotel and what it does for his bank balance sheet and what it does for his ego. Ukraine didn't help Donald Trump's ego. Ukraine didn't help Donald Trump steal the election. So Ukraine can go to hell as far as Trump. This is what is so dangerous about the man. He is not America first. I mean, remember, everything Trump says is a lie. He's not America first. He's Trump first. I don't even think he likes this country. He doesn't like our freedoms. I don't think he likes this country, let alone so that he certainly doesn't do things in the best interest of this country. Every deal he struck internationally was to help himself or to help his kids, right? His stupid son-in-law goes and makes $2 billion off the Saudis after Trump leaves office. Boy, if that was Hunter Biden, we'd have heard a lot about that if that was Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's just a moron. Trump's kids and Trump's family, $2 billion? Anyway, grr. Yeah, I know you're not a bot. Tell me, my love, why are you you're trying to explain here why Biden's afraid of doing more? Yeah, Malavra isn't a bot. Don't worry. They've been there for a long time. They're good. They're good peeps. Well, you can do me as a write-in for the next president because I'm never running for president. Right. Oh my God, the security clearance thing. Exactly. All that kind of crazy stuff. Anyway, what else we got here? All right, let me look at the question. So that's the deal with Julian Assange. Well, we don't know if Iran refused to supply Russia with drones. The latest I saw when I looked it up was Iran was being cagey, but it wasn't a no when I looked it up. Is America and China and Russia about to be in a war? No, certainly not China. And even America and Russia. The thing is, Russia at best is kind of tied with Ukraine right now, right? In the long run, Russia could win if we don't provide better weapons to Ukraine. But if we provide better weapons to Ukraine fast, Russia could lose this war. And Russia knows it. So there is no way Russia that can't figure out how to beat Ukraine is going to want to take on 30 NATO allies, including the US, the UK, the Germans, Norway. Norway's got a kick-ass military too. The French. I mean, there's just no way. So no, we're not going to war with Russia because we would destroy Russia and they know it. They absolutely know it. So nope. And China, I don't think China's doing anything. I mean, there's nothing with China. Okay, I might as well look at an election. It's Ukraine too. If the Democrats lose the House and Senate in the fall, which looks like it's happening, currently it looks like it's happening. Will this have an effect for Ukraine? All depends if Donald Trump runs for president. If Donald Trump doesn't run for president, then Ukraine might be okay. Mitch McConnell, who would be the Republican leader in the Senate. I mean, he is the Republican leader in the Senate, but he'd be the majority leader if Republicans win. McConnell is very pro-Ukraine, so that's good. In the House, the guy that would be the Speaker of the House is a moron. I mean, he's just a brain-dead moron, McCarthy. So he's trouble, and he's a Trumper. I mean, he's one of those who secretly criticized Trump after the insurrection and said, we've got to remove him from office, and then turned around 2 weeks later and was Trump's biggest defender. So McCarthy is one of those Republicans who will just get on his knees and bow for Trump. If Trump runs for election, Trump will talk about Ukraine, and Trump will bash Ukraine and defend Russia. And he'll talk about how things with Russia were so good before Biden came. And Yeah, I think Ukraine's in trouble if Trump runs for election, because Trump is going to say horrific things about Ukraine, and all of his followers, sadly, too many of his followers are lemmings. I mean, it's a cult. It is a cult. I'm sorry, but the MAGA thing is a cult. And they're going to sit there and go from I defend freedom to I defend Trump. If Trump says Russia's good and Ukraine's bad, it's true. So it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. So sadly, the Germans not. Felix is saying the Germans aren't that good. Don't praise the German military capability. A Swiss kindergartner could defeat us on a Sunday afternoon. I assumed the Germans were good, at least militarily. I mean, I know you guys had that problems you said, like where you couldn't get helmets for 10 years, but Morty. It's not the largest cult. I'm not a big fan of the far left in America either. But the far left in America doesn't run the Democratic Party. The Trumpist right in America runs the Republican Party. And that's the problem. And this has always been a problem, is that, Republicans will point to crazy Democrats. And I mean, look, I don't like AOC, I don't like her. I'm not a big Bernie fan either, especially the people AOC hangs out with. Her friends and her staff are all socialists, and they're the bad socialists. I do not like any of these people. But guess what? She's not president. She's not president. She's a second term member of Congress with no power. And she's embraced by the far left of the party, or I don't even know what to call it anymore, because we used to use the word progressive for myself, but now they use progressive for the socialist wing. So I don't know what the hell I am. But and I don't mind if you think AOC and Bernie are great. But all I'm saying is, for me, they're too far left. Irrelevant. The Republicans demonize AOC and Bernie, but AOC and Bernie aren't president. AOC and Bernie don't run our party. In Trump was president. The Republicans want Trump to be president again. He's their top candidate. There's no poll showing that Bernie Sanders or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is our number one pick for president. No way. Right? And even Bernie isn't. Still, Bernie Sanders' biggest mistake is that he wants to give everybody health insurance. I mean, that's his biggest flaw. The guy wants to make sure people don't die and get sick. Donald Trump. So, but that's the thing that always gets me is unfortunately on the Republican side, the crazies run the party, and that's the scary thing. On the Democratic side, they worry about the crazies a little too much, so the crazies have influence. But on the Republican side, you literally have Donald Trump running the party, and that's a freaking disaster. So there you go. So when you say somebody was saying the far left among Democrats is a cult, and I was like, yeah, maybe, but the far left among Democrats don't run the party. Michelle Obama. Can I tell you really quick my Michelle Obama story? Since someone said Michelle Obama would be awesome, and that's still politics. I met her twice, briefly, but met her twice because I went to the White House Christmas party. They now call it a holiday party, be a little more. Except, I love this. It's a holiday party, but there's like 50 Christmas trees. It is not exactly a house filled with menorahs. I think there's one big menorah, but it's not like it's equal number of Hanukkah bushes. Okay. It's a Christmas party. And the way it works, up until Trump didn't want to do it, but the way it worked is presidents hold their Christmas parties. They literally hold like 11 or 12 Christmas parties. I kid you not. There's something like 300 guests who can invite. I think it's 300 guests who can each invite a guest. It's either 150 or 300. I forget. It might be 150 guests who each invite. So there's 300. Bottom line is, I got invited twice. Very wonderful affair. And the president and the first lady sit for photos with the guests. They have to sit with, I forget, maybe it is 300 guests. Yeah, it's a crazy number. I think it is 300. It is 300. I remember why now. Because they stand in a room and get the photo taken with you, each guest. And so I came with my sister or whoever was with me, right? And they take your picture. and they take 3 pictures, first of all, to make sure one works. So you've got 3 bright flashes going off, and they have to do this with 300 invitees. So 900 flash bulbs going off over a period of like 2 or 3 hours. I mean, thank you, sweet critter mom. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I'm talking to you guys now, and the ring light I've got there is bothering my eyes a little bit. I can't imagine 3 hours of, and it's boom, boom, boom. Well, we go about halfway through, thanks to Arabella. And both times we were like halfway through, meet them, and the Marine introduces you, Mr. President, this is John Arvosa of so-and-so, and Kathy, my sister, whatever it was. We go to meet them. I go to meet Michelle. Thank you, Fleabaggy. And both times shook her hand, and I told her, I'm from the Chicago area, told her where I was from. And I kid you, I remember the second time she goes, "Get out of here. Oh my God, we no, what about?" And then she asks you another question and you answer, and she's holding your hand. She is the nicest, most personable human being. I mean, literally, I spent 4 seconds talking to her, maybe 5, right? 6 at most. And you remember it as this wonderful moment with her because she's just so lovely and captivating. Thank you, Kanowski, for that. I will also say, I do not think she photographs well. In person, she's lovely. I mean, you guys can disagree, but I think, she's tall, and in photographs, it kind of looks big. She just does. I don't think she photographs as well. In person, she's lovely, absolutely lovely. And she is tall. I had my arms around her, and literally, like, it was bizarre. I was too small. But anyway, she's an amazing person, and she has something her husband doesn't have. Having met Obama a couple times, Obama hates these kind of events, and he was interviewed at the beginning of his administration saying it. He doesn't like the meet and greets where you got to shake everybody's hands, and you could tell he was kind of like she. Boom! Just anyway, blew my mind. I think I was there 3 times even. Blew my mind though. She's just amazing. Anyway, Michelle. I can't imagine she'd want to run, but sorry, just seeing what else you guys have been writing here. Oh, you could. Well, that's funny that Downey Chick says, I understand why celebrities wear sunglasses now. Actually, I never even thought of that, but it's true. Just for the flashes and everything else, I don't think she'd run though. Ooh, Flower Lady and Me 95. Thank you guys for that. Russia is losing, dude. All right, let me look here. TikTok. Ooh, Shooting Stars. Oh, I don't know if that one's new, Arifa. I don't recognize that one. That was cool. I'm not sure I recognize that. Okay, let me go back here and look again. Q&A. See if you guys put anything else. No Ukraine, but thoughts on the awful mess of Uvalde. How are we to trust the police? Pretty bad. Yeah, that's the Oh, nice. Oh, that's nice. That's funny. Oh, okay. Her partner's from Kharkiv. The woman who raised $1,000 at her pool party last night. Her partner's from Kharkiv. Good. So she had a little extra leverage to guilt the friends into putting up the money. That's good. Good for her. That's funny. Sorry, I saw her message, so just wanted to see what it was. Q&A. So you were asking. Oh, Obama cannot run again because you are limited to 2 terms in office by law, by the Constitution. I think in the Constitution, maybe. I don't even remember where it is. But the president can only be president twice, and that's it. So Obama already had 2 terms. That's all you can have. Trump only had 1, which is why he could run again. Now, Michelle could run, sure. But, thank you, Crusher. She kind of had made clear that she really didn't like the politics, even though she's really good at it. And I think she's got a really good political mind. But she didn't want to, she'd kind of made clear she didn't, it was an amendment after Roosevelt. That's what I thought. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. No, even if he's vice president, you can't be president. I don't think so. Thank you, Crusher. I don't think you can be eligible to be vice president either. That's a good question, actually, constitutionally. We talked about this the other day. I like Pete, but I'm not real thrilled with the larger selection we had last time. I like Pete a lot. I thought he was a little young last time, but he still was my guy, because to me, he brings the heart and soul that Obama had. He brings the brain and the ability to present things that Bill Clinton had. I really like him. The gay thing, it'll be an issue, but I didn't think Obama would be elected president the first time. I was for Obama early on, but I was like, we're going to get killed. America will never elect a black man, but let's try. And it worked, So who knows about Pete? The other ones, I like a lot of them. None of them knocked my socks off. I will say Kamala Harris, perhaps to me, was the most presidential of them. The only thing is, she has a lot of gaffes like Biden himself does. She doesn't kind of keep her composure. Like, she'll make mistakes. She'll get called out on things and she'll kind of lose her cool. Things that you just kind of have to keep. I don't know. I worry. She's also very liberal, which may not work with the public. Having said that, I like her. When she speaks, I like her because there's an authority. And frankly, I think she used to be a prosecutor or something, whatever it was, which to me, I'm like, good. Let's have a Democrat who's tough on crime. The base of the party doesn't like that. But the other ones didn't. I remember telling somebody at the time, I felt like we had a lot of, like I said, B list, that we didn't really have the A list. They were okay. And Biden, to some degree, was also B list because we knew Biden was already getting old. If Biden weren't as old, he might have been A list. But greetings Latvia. Attorney General, there you go. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. People asked me about Gavin Newsom the other day. I don't know enough about him. I mean, I know him, of course, but I don't know enough about him. I mean, I know of him. He'll certainly be attacked. Exactly. 6 minutes till my alarm goes off. Thank you, Ryan. He'll certainly be, Newsom will be attacked for being a Californian, and even worse, the former mayor of San Francisco. But, you let them throw those attacks, and as long as you got a good comeback, it'll work, right? He just needs to almost find a funny but biting comeback to that, Hell, if I would do that. If somebody said his San Francisco values, I would have turned around and gone, and as Newsom would have gone, look, Donald, don't be so afraid. I'm not going to try to date you. I'm not interested in dating you. Or I don't know, something that's kind of a funny joke, but is also like boom. And it totally like defuses the issue, So if you know what you're doing media-wise, you can do these kind of things. America perceives California and especially San Francisco as being uber liberal. Now, mind you, San Francisco is uber liberal. It's not like America perceives it, but nonetheless, there is that perception that a candidate would have to deal with. He speaks very well. He did that campaign ad recently about the school shootings. That was amazing. I mean, this is Gavin Newsom again. Amazing campaign ad. Which, certainly raised his prospects in my eyes. Seeing that campaign ad, he's such a good orator, he's such a good speaker. I saw that ad and I was like, okay, this guy's not bad. Because part of the problem is Democrats, I think, don't often. Beto's good. Beto's a horrible debater. He really needs practice. He's a horrible debater. But I like Beto, and I think people like him, Beto O'Rourke. When they see him speak, even people in the middle, he seems genuine, right? I mean, and I think for Americans, there's a lot of things. I don't know. Part of it is who I would want, and part of it is who I think is electable, right? I think Americans like their presidents to look like they came out of a corporate boardroom, I think, or to sound like they came out of a corporate boardroom. That is one of the reasons I like Kamala Harris. For me, she puts on her business suit, and to me, she looks like some rich business executive running a multinational company kind of thing. And I'm like, damn. And I think Americans like Donald Trump. I think he's a liar and a phony, but he fooled people with his business persona, overweight, the suit, the people kind of like that kind of thing. Obama was charismatic. Obama didn't look like the businessman per se. Charismatic, impeccable speaker. And I think that works too. Obama was a very the lower voice, very serious, very perfect speaker, right? I mean, the words that works too. Although Obama, a bit of an anomaly, let's face it, right? In many ways, but he knew what he was doing. We like our politicians to comb their hair. That's true too. That's true too. It's hard. I mean, well, exactly. Obama. Well, I forgot about that. He was a constitutional law professor. Yeah, because you can tell Obama. Boom, boom, boom. There's just, the brain, but also very evocative speaker. I think there is a presidential look. Now, this is one of the problems I think Pete might have is I don't know that he has the presidential look being of a smaller build, but he is presidential in the way he speaks. And I think I think he's captivating. And I mean, I've seen this with lots of people. They hear him speak and Republicans, and they go, I like that guy. There's just something very honest and earnest and yet smart. Again, to me, it's Obama and Clinton mixed, Bill at least. Anyway, who knows? Let me do a recap, folks, because we're getting close to the time of me running off to get my COVID shot. And then tomorrow night, obviously, we'll be doing 7 p.m. again. It'll be Monday night. 7 p.m. Eastern. So just to reiterate, we're at $4,005. I'm going to guess even more right now with our fundraiser for the people with disabilities in one of the frontline cities in Ukraine. The purchasing has already been going on, food, medicine, sundries, and we're collecting money through tomorrow morning. So if you can donate, as I said, that's my first alarm. That is how you donate. Vlad Naprokovsky, the Gmail address there. You guys can find it in my profile. You'll find the URL, my TikTok profile. There's a web address that says Beacons. Click it. And that page will tell you how to give via PayPal to Vlad. And as always, as I said, we'll pick one person who's given $5 or more and give them this handy dandy real Ukrainian military patch. It's real. Vlad bought it in Ukraine and sent it to me. There is a 19-year-old Ukrainian recruit with the National Guard who has shot down 6 Russian aircraft and 1 cruise missile. He is being called the Zaporizhia Avenger. The Russians launched another massive attack on Mykolaiv. The Russians may have changed their goal, and they may be targeting all of the city of... did I say 6 p.m.? I'm sorry. I'm being crazy. 6 p.m. Eastern. Sorry. I'm thinking of the old time. You're right. 6 p.m. New York time, 6 p.m. DC time. Sorry, tomorrow. The Russians may be targeting all of Kharkiv. They may now have the goal of trying to take over all of Ukraine's second largest city. Something's to be hard for them to do. 2 villages in the Luhansk province in the east remain in Ukrainian hands, meaning the Russians cannot claim that they've taken the whole region yet. Ukraine's military says Russian forces have sustained equipment personnel losses in southern Ukraine. The Russians are moving their ammunition further back, so now they need twice as many vehicles, trucks and cars, to transfer the ammunition to the front, and that means a logistical nightmare for the Russians. I showed you a funny little picture, cartoon. Germany is going to reopen 16 coal and oil-fired power plants to help make up for a looming natural gas shortage from Russia. The German chancellor said that reactivating nuclear power plants was off the table. Germans have begun training 100 Ukrainian military personnel on how to use the Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft guns. The New York Times says the Russians have now begun a program of indoctrinating students and young kids. Medvedev, the former prime minister, is becoming a bigger and bigger fascist every day. The head of the British Defense Staff, Admiral Tony Radakin, says the Russian Federation will remain a threat to the world for potentially several more decades. In countering that, or not intentionally countering that, but the Latvian defense minister said that Ukraine has greatly weakened Russia so that the Kremlin will not dare start a new conflict in the next 2 decades. And finally, the Washington Post says the big tech companies, the social media companies, are ignoring requests to remove disinformation and hate speech against Ukrainians. So there you go. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I can hang for another 2 minutes and then I got to go, guys. Because I also got to write up my little shopping list since it's at the store nearby as well. Thank you, Kanowski, for that. Anyway, yeah, there was a good amount of news today. Like I said, I didn't think there was until I sort of got to it. Oh, and they're also taking pictures. You're going to be doing some videos of all the goods they've bought and everything else. Just because Vlad gets it. I've told him before. It's always nice to have visuals to show people, not that you don't believe the stuff is going, but I thought it'd be nice. So I was just doing okay today. We were supposed to have thunderstorms, which had me worried, but now they're off the table. I think thunderstorms may be gone. Let me see. Well, there may be thunderstorms at 6 p.m. But I'll be here at that point. So I'm going to have to give her another pill and see how it goes. No, not to the grocery store. That is not allowed in America. Actually, in New York, I would take Sasha inside the what would you call like a CVS, a Dwayne Reed? Are they, what do we call those? I'm not sure what you'd call it in Europe, the kind of store it is. It's a store where it's kind of an apothecary, but they're way bigger. Like they're way bigger in a pharmacy, I guess a pharmacy, but it's like a convenient pharmacy. They're big stores, like Dwayne Reed and CVS. They're big stores that also have food, which is interesting. And because it was New York and I saw other people doing it, I just walked in with Sasha and they were fine with it. And only once I got questioned. Actually, no, the first time I went, I asked the staff and they said, "Oh yeah, dogs are fine." And I was like, God, I love New York. Dogs are fine. Like you'd never find that in America normally. But yeah, so it was good. I am 5'9.5". She's got to be 6 something. I'm going to see if I can find my picture. It's on my Facebook page. Hold on. If I can find it, I'll show you really quick and then I'll go. And then I go. Where is this? Come on. Come on. Featured. Oh, it's got to be one of my featured. Hold on. Featured. Come on. Featured. Featured. There we go. Oops. Stop it. It's not going to let me actually download it. That's annoying. Well, okay. I will show you all. Like I said, they're not going to let me download the photo, but at least I can show you. There we go. Actually, I don't feel like I look as short in this one as I felt. Because like I said, she's awfully tall. Actually, she doesn't look horribly tall next to me. The only problem was I didn't know where to put my hand. So my hand was like way high up and everybody was making fun of where my hand was. But it was weird because she's so tall. It was weird. Like I was afraid I was grabbing her butt because she's so tall. So I raised my hand up and then everybody said I was grabbing her boob. So it was a no-win situation with me and Michelle Obama. It was like, because you can see it's great. All right, I got to go, guys. Yeah, let me go. I don't want to be late. All right, I'm signing off. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Be there. We're accepting money through tomorrow morning for the charity. And then I will pull off all the videos and everything else so nobody gets confused. And then after that, we'll pick the person who gets the patch. Thank you, guys. You're very lovely.